So at this point, you should have signed up for a Sketchup Schools account and you should have signed in. And the nice thing about using the web software is that you can access it from home and it saves automatically to your OneDrive. So here we are staring at an infinitely sized canvas with Temple Grandin. And I just want to highlight a few features of the software. So over here on the left side, we have our toolbar. And this is where we can do all kinds of things like draw and paint and draw polygons. And this is where you would make 3D shapes. And then there's like a modify toolbar where you can like move, copy, rotate, all of that stuff. And then measure, walk through, and orbit. So this is kind of like the left toolbar is where you're going to find everything that you need to draw, to actually like draw things, measure things, modify things. On the right side, we have a different kind of toolbar. And this toolbar is where you can find tutorials. If you're like, Mrs. D's presentation was bad and I still don't understand, you can go through the tutorials. This third one down is called components. It's like 3 little cubes stacked on each other. This is where you're going to access the 3D warehouse. This is like your new best friend. So this is where you're going to access all of the files that everyone on Earth has ever drawn and saved and shared in SketchUp. Now keep in mind, it's open source, so like anyone can contribute stuff. So some of the stuff is really awful. Also, some of the stuff is really good. So be mindful as you're going through. Having said that, some of the files are glitchy. So sometimes as you're like doing your project and you want to look up something to add, so maybe you want to add like a, I don't know, let's see if they have a Mars rover. Hey, look, a Mars rover. So maybe you want to add this one. So you select it and it inserts it into your model. There it is. Oh, look, squishing a Temple Grandin. Sorry. So put it here. So I've inserted the Mars rover. It is a block. You can explode the block if you want to change it. I can show you that. You can scale it. You can grab the grip points and change size and whatever. But it comes in as the sizes it was drawn. As you can see, this doesn't make any sense because the Mars rover is like, here's Temple Grandin, there's Mars rover. Obviously not scaled correctly. Way too big. So at this point, if you want to modify the grip points and you want to grab the corner and you want to like shrink it down, this may be a good time to do that. Consider that. Now, if you bring a file in, and then all of a sudden it's like super glitchy and crashes repeatedly, it probably means that the most recent thing that you brought in from the 3D warehouse was corrupt. So I would consider deleting that thing. So let's say Mars rover was causing all kinds of problems. We can select it and delete it. Erase. Gone. Or not erase. Select. Don't be like that. I thought it was delete. Oh, it is backspace, not delete. It's like opposite of AutoCAD. Okay, so it's gone. So what I want to show you first and foremost, things to add. You can't just download a Mars habitat from components and insert it into your file. Some people are like, I already found a Mars habitat and I inserted it. And I've also added a space shuttle. And I've also added, no. Like, yeah, I'm not expecting you to draw the space shuttle, but yes, I am expecting you to draw the habitat. So please don't just insert one, because I also am capable of searching that warehouse, and I'm also capable of finding things that people have put on there. So if I suspect that you've pulled it from the 3D warehouse, you will receive no marks. I've shown you that. And then there's also a couple of features on here. So you can apply materials to surfaces. So once you draw something, if you're like, I want this to look like stainless steel, you can click it and you can apply a material so it looks like stainless steel and not just like gray garbage. Styles is a styles editor. You can also like label things. You can take videos. You can change your display. There's like all kinds of things you can do. So this is like kind of like the inspection and insertion toolbar. And then at the bottom, there's a measurement, a distance measurement. It depends kind of like what units you're using. We'll see as we start drawing what units we're in. And I think that's kind of like all I have to say about that. So getting started with drawing, the simplest way to draw is to start with the polygon and then push or pull it into 3D. So I'll show you a couple of ways to do that. So you can start with a rectangle, or perhaps you want to start with a different shape. That's up to you. So maybe we'll do like an actual polygon. So maybe like my modular shape is a polygon. Now, when I'm drawing here, you can see it highlights blue. That's my XY axis, and then red is my like YZ. So just watch where you're drawing. Like if you want to be drawing vertically or if you want to be drawing horizontally, just like be careful. And then there's like the green axis as well, which is my XZ axis. So I want to draw an XY, so I'm going to be in like this blue thing. So I'm going to click, and then how many sides, inscribed radius. So down at the bottom, it says my inscribed radius is 2 foot. So it's like a 4 foot overall polygon. That's not helpful. We don't want to make a 4 foot polygon. So maybe I want to make like a, I don't know, 24 foot polygon. Okay. So I have a 24 foot polygon consuming Temple Grandin. I'm going to move it. Excuse me. So I'll go to move. I'll grab the thing from here and we'll move it over away from her. All right. And then what I want to do is I want to make this 3-dimensional. So I can take this whole shape and I can just pull it into 3 dimensions. So I can do that with my toolbar here. I have the push-pull command. So I would click that and I would like literally pull it up. That's how you make something 3D. Literally pull it up. If you wanted it to be like walls, excuse me. If you wanted it to be walls, what you would probably need to do is like draw another polygon inside. So you could do that by doing something like this. Find the center. Where is my center? There. Not there. Excuse me. I really should have brought my water in here. This would be like way easier. Okay, whatever. Here's on face. So I'll draw another polygon inside. You can also use the offset command. I should show you that before. You know what? I'm going to show that before. We'll Control Z and go back to here. So I'll draw another polygon. I want to go in the middle. Why aren't you snapping to the middle? I don't want to go to the end point. There we go. Center. So we can draw another polygon within. Maybe something like this. And then what we could do is we could extrude or push pull just the outside. And then you would get like walls. And then Temple Grandin there is there to show you kind of scale, but also at the bottom you can see distance. So it's going like 5 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet. So maybe we'll do like 11-foot walls, or maybe 12. I don't know. YOLO. So 12-foot walls. And then you can do things like you can draw on the surfaces, or maybe you're like, I want this one wall to be really fat. So you can grab it and you can pull it out. Or maybe you want to add like a chamber or something here. Or maybe this is where your module connects to another module. It's like really up to you. And then you'll have your doorways. So maybe you're going to have like rectangular doorways. Maybe you aren't. Maybe they're going to be circular. Don't know. Don't care. So something like this. You have a doorway here. I'm going to show you how to push, pull, cut. So you'd use the push, pull command again, and you'd push back until it meets the back wall. Let's rotate so we can see what's happening. Excuse me. Push, pull. I don't want the offset limit. I want to go. Why you no cooperate? Okay, whatever. Select, delete, delete. Can we see the other side yet, or is it being difficult? Oh, I see what it did. I deleted the wall. Okay, I can redraw the wall. No big deal. Excuse me. So I can redraw that. That's like not a big deal. So I can just draw my rectangle here, and I can close the shape back in here. Oh, I didn't want you to close the wall. Whatever. I'm like really not winning with this today. Anyway, you get the idea. There's a wall, there's a hole, there's a doorway through. And then you can apply materials. So I showed you that command for applying materials is here. So you can select materials, you can go through the 3D warehouse, you can select specific materials, like maybe you want stainless steel, or maybe you want whatever. So here's somebody posted this, we can download it, we can add stainless steel on face, whatever. That's how you apply materials. And then other commands. So there are other ways to draw things. So you don't just have to use push pull. There's also follow me. And there's also offset. So offset would have been a really good command if I drew a polygon and then I offset it like 2 feet. It would just draw a larger polygon with the same center rather than having to draw 2 and find the center. There's also follow me. So that's where you have a shape and you have a path. So maybe you have something like this. So maybe you have something like a circle on this face and then you want to have like some kind of like extraction unit out the side here. So you would provide a path. So like, I don't know, something like this. And then what you would use is you'd use the follow me command, and you would take the shape and then you would follow the path like that. And then it adds your kind of like ducting or whatever extraction unit you want to have. These are probably the two 3D generation tools that you're going to use most. Are those, and then you'll probably use a lot of the 3D warehouse and applying materials to make it look the way you want it to. So you might want to put in like some windows, you might want to whatever. I'm really not that worried about like if you want to add like a house window or something, I don't really care, as long as like in your notes you explain that it's like not actually a house window, because like that wouldn't work in this situation because it's not like timber frame and stuff. But I don't expect you to like draw these things from scratch. But the same thing with the materials thing. So if you like draw a rectangle on the side and you apply the material of glass, it will actually look through to the inside. So it'll like generate a preview of what the inside looks like. So think about that. There aren't that many other tools that I need to show you. I feel like you can probably follow through by looking at these tools and looking at the drawing tools. You don't have to use polygon. You can also draw freeform shapes. You can also just draw with a pencil and pull. And then you can also use the paint command rather than applying materials, and it does like literally the same thing. So you click paint and then you click the surface that you want to make whatever, like glass or material or whatever material, and you can change that. And then my kind of like what I would urge you to do is I would urge you to save often. Like 100% save often. What we got? We got Fraser Heights, courses. And this is now linked to my OneDrive. So it's like automatically going to save all my stuff so I can access it from home, which is awesome. I can also access from school. What course are we? Pre-engineering? Pre-engineering. Okay, and then we'll call this Mars Habitat. Save here. So now that's saved, save often. Again, like you could have made lots of really great progress and then insert one bad thing from the 3D warehouse and then have your whole file be corrupt. So please save so that you can go back and change things if necessary. Are there questions about SketchUp? Getting started with SketchUp, what SketchUp we're supposed to be using, Mars project, anything? If not, I'm going to end the recording and you can ask me independently. So just to